Okay, this is a special Sangerville Select Board meeting. It is May 17th at 2024, 4 PM. Are we going to say the pledge? It's just us. We can forego the pledge for today. So the purpose of this meeting is to call an executive session under 1 MRSA subsection 4056A. I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second that.
All in favor? 3 in favor, and we are now in executive session. Okay, it is 4:35. We are coming out of executive session.
Need a motion?
I need a motion. I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
All three are in favor. Action taken is that we are accepting Jeff Libby, our town manager's resignation as of June 6th. He has offered to help us out as he can while we are actively seeking a new town manager. So that's the action. So I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation.
Second that motion.
Okay, and
I didn't want to.
okay, all in favor?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Jeff, and we will definitely need your help. So we'll look forward to that. A couple of just, business items that we want to do. One is I think as far as people coming into the office, I've been in the office a couple times now. I've had the opportunity to be in the office. We know it's 800 square feet. When it's just intolerable for Michelle and for Sam to do their jobs because it's just too much going on. I mean, there's too much noise. Sam can't hear it on the phone, etc. So one, I think that, for example, we had people there at a desk looking at old documents. Is there any way, Michelle, you can, it's what happened, and I'm at fault, as I sat down with them and ended up talking to them for 2 hours about what they were researching. And it was making too much noise for you to do your business and for Sam to do her business. So the question is, should these people be either making an appointment so that they can come in on a Wednesday when you're sitting and doing your work and they can sit and do theirs and there's no interaction with the public, because that's what happens. They're sitting there and there's conversation.
Well, lots of times, I mean, if I go in on Wednesday, which I have been working Wednesdays, lots of times just trying to keep up with the paperwork.
right.
We could do that. That definitely. would
Something
be
that
an
works for
option.
you. It
Yeah.
is up to you. I mean, it's, and the other thing I would like to do is I would like people, and I'm just weighing in, obviously it's for everyone to discuss, FOIA requests. Because things are getting a little bit loosey.
What request?
FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, it's a form, right? And it's a formality is what it is. Because I've had people calling me for information and I think it's just a form that you fill out and then it gives you a period of time to get that information for them.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to somebody just coming in and saying, can I see the file on the old town hall? Or can I see the, whatever it was, on that piece of property that's been the biggest item? Then at least we have a sort of a chain of command of people who have been in the file or people who have viewed the file, via these FOIA requests.
Okay.
Does
A
that
lot of times too in the past what you've done is, a lot of people see the original documents. If they're requesting the information, it's a photocopy. And then, there's a limit. It's not like if you want 1 or 2 pages, okay, 1 or 2 pages is great. But if somebody actually wants information that's gonna incur hours of time or lots of
There's a
things,
charge.
then there's a fee associated with that.
Yeah,
And it's
like,
not for the town to make money, but it's taking
right.
you away from doing
Right.
whatever you're
Right.
supposed to be doing.
Right, something like that. I don't know. I mean, we've just had more activity, and I can see it's taking up a lot of your time, and it also redirects you. It takes, because you are, you know, you interact, and which is great, you're friendly and you interact and you're interested in what everybody's doing, but it's not fair to you, because then you have to bring yourself back to, okay, what, you know, where was I, what am I doing? So,
We have to work more on a Wednesday to get caught up.
yeah, exactly,
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately, I mean, there is a lot of activity in the office. And I certainly don't wanna discourage anyone from coming into the office, that's what we're there for.
right,
But a little more control, like his voice just.
Oh,
kept
I
getting
know.
louder and louder
I
and
know, I
louder.
know.
Then Sam couldn't hear on the phone.
I know.
And so it's such a small space.
Right.
I do like the idea, I have no problem going in on a Wednesday for any resident that wanted to see something. I don't have a problem with that.
yeah, or if you're not going in that Wednesday, they come in the next Wednesday when you know you have an hour worth of work that you're gonna do, because obviously people need to be monitored also, if they're,
In the old books.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And lots of times we have to actually look in the files at the office and do we have that?
Right.
Well, then we gotta go up to the Old Town office, find it and then bring it back for them.
Right,
So
right.
it is easier if they do have an appointment, I like that better,
right,
than just walking through the door and trying to find the stuff that they want, so.
right.
And I will find that form, I didn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm envisioning, wouldn't you think there's
It's
some,
there.
yeah,
It's already there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a policy, this form, it's already on.
oh, okay,
Okay.
on our web,
Yeah, could be something.
Okay, because I had, a citizen ask me for some emails, which would be a FOIA request. I mean, and it's about the town, that piece of property. They're emails that went to the town manager, so the town manager has them. So I honestly think that would need to go via a FOIA request. You know, that's what I thought when he called me. That there's, so we'll leave it at that.
I do have another suggestion with that is, it is a small space, but a couple of times we've had people come in there that are less than level-headed. Hot.
Yes,
My suggestion would be every day, shut the office down from either 11 to 12 or whatever the girl sits, it's their office. They both take their breaks. So there's always two there unless one's sick. That way, it's not one person there and it gets into some big argument there, because there's a lot of offices have a break. They've got no break between them. So
Right.
they get no protection there.
Yeah.
So by having both of them there, they have a little bit of security because of two of them there. Maybe somebody can help somebody, somebody can call.
right,
And I think it'd be a safer, to the
Environment.
point where we can get some security and
right,
some
right.
sort of a break, so one's on one side, one's on the other.
Yep.
I just feel for their safety, because the way everybody's wound up.
Yeah,
Not the town people, but the world,
The world in general.
yeah.
yep. Yeah, and that was the next part of that, as far as people coming in and asking for things, people coming in and wanting to plop themselves down and, you know, hold court in the office, and then safety. And I witnessed that today, that, you know, that just was totally unnecessary. You handled it perfectly, but that needed to be shut down way before. You didn't need to do what you did. You did it, you know, so, I like that idea. And, you know, that's one of the things, that, as far as like a new town office, we talked about security, we talked about, you know, just a glass window, the whole 9 yards. Even a drive-through window,
Yeah,
that
even a
people could
drive-up
just,
window would be
drive-up window to register cars and drop things off and that type of thing. So, okay, that's good. So
So we'll shut down.
It's your guys' stuff.
Yep,
It's the
it is,
office's stuff.
it is totally, it's your office, and, you know, as long as it's published and on the website,
Okay,
right?
Shut the door, go home, have a sandwich, you and Sam go, and then come back, reopen up, and that way you're both safe. I worry about that.
Yep,
You know?
No,
And
that's
like what happened today, say, no, conversation's over, go, the town manager will be back in, then have them come back in, there's three of us there that can see if we can control that situation. Some people you just can't help.
Well, I was really glad that Jody came in
Yeah.
right behind the person.
Yeah,
just because it gave us another witness to what was going on.
Right.
And Sam was busy with a registration that she was doing, so she couldn't really focus
Address that,
on
yeah.
and the interaction in the office. So, that was, yeah.
It was abusive. It was abusive behavior and it was not acceptable. I didn't intervene because I figured you have experience with this. And so and you did shut her down, but she got a lot of latitude because you were trying to reason, which,
The next step would have been me standing up and coming out of my area, and then I would have asked you for assistance.
okay, all right.
Because, in
Yeah.
my head, I wasn't gonna let her get any closer to my desk.
Yeah.
I was gonna block that.
But I tell
so.
you, even at that point, I wouldn't even get to that, I would just 911.
Yep,
I need an
yep,
officer
yep,
and leave it at that, get them coming.
yeah,
Because, back to what Jeff said, it's not about anybody in particular, but the world we live in today is not the same world we lived in. And there's a lot of stress on a lot of people for different reasons, and there's a lot of people that don't react the same as
right, not rationally,
Used to.
that's right,
I would not in any way want you guys to fear not calling 911 or whatever, get them coming.
right,
Let them deal with it.
Okay.
So you don't get stuck in a situation that you don't wanna be in.
yep, I agree.
They're too close, they're in Guilford, I mean,
Yeah, that's right. And hopefully the phone call will be enough of
yep,
a,
a lot of times, that's probably all it would take,
Yeah.
you know?
even if you make believe, I'm gonna.
So,
I also had one other, and I honestly don't have an agenda in front of me, but I did make some notes. I just want to clarify something with regard to the park, because there's, again, a lot of conversation about that. The mowing was put under, the mowing is covered,
Mowing it comes under administration.
so that got cut.
That is not a funded item, but it's contractual, so
Oh, that's right, we've done.
it's just
So
like
you're-
streetlights are contracted.
It's,
And next year in the budget, that stuff needs to go under public works or a different line item, it shouldn't be administrative.
okay,
So, what you're asking about the parks, those two activities that are taking place, the mowing and the electrical, those accounts are going negative, because right now we still have to pay for those, but we don't have any funding. So that's gonna be a question of, what do we do with the budget to equal that back out?
wow.
Because we've
one
had,
more piece for the.
we've had contracts that we've had to.
Sure, you have to
Yeah,
honor
we
your,
have to pay.
right.
And that's what they're doing, so.
I can take that anywhere within that administrative budget. It's under
Right.
administrative, so if I gain something here, that'll pay for the mowing. What I don't have is a rec budget.
Yes.
What we do for $145, but we didn't get no budget, so we copied $145. And so they wanted to do a rec day, they wanted to buy paint, and they wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff. But nobody ever submitted a scope of action to the town, so we didn't know what they wanted to do. You got 20 some odd people there. But I've tried to encourage them, we'll come back around. Yes, this could be later in the year if we do the special. They mentioned the 15,000. I can't touch that 15,000, that comes under you guys, and then
No.
it takes a town meeting to spend that, so you might as well bring that all back to the town and see if you get some of that stuff corrected. But the painting, all that stuff's gonna have to wait till we got a budget for that.
Yep.
We don't have a budget for that.
Nope.
And we've had, more requests for the dock, the boat dock to go out, because they're waiting to put their boats in the water.
Oh, yeah. So is that something that has to wait as well?
That comes under that
Oh.
same budget, you know? You have.
Well, you already got, I mean, you're all in the same category, we already know that whole line item's gonna be a negative. We don't even have money to pay salary to get us through the year. Period.
Right.
It's all in the same group.
It's $58,000 and change. That's a hard line to come up with $58,000 with all the fixed stuff in there.
I mean, what I don't understand is why this group of people voted that way.
I don't think they understood. I think I should have stood up and talked again. we did have the comment, you took something from us, we'll take something from you.
Yeah, so there you go.
But that's what happens. That's the vote, that's the political atmosphere. And sometimes you gotta live with the repercussions of that vote.
Well, but
Sure, that means-
unfortunately,
That means no vote, no.
yeah, that's right. When people start,
You know, town office is either gonna get closed, or people are gonna get laid off, or we gotta go back and ask for more money.
But I think you gotta go back around, and you need to explain it a little bit more, and see if you can get some money put back into that. And this is why, you know?
with that said, Michelle gave me the figure that the 2024 budget, not 100% yet, but for the school is $961,180. That breaks down to $80,000 a month that we're cutting a check to the school for.
So you look at our overall budget for the town, we cut the overall, if the budget stayed the way it was written prior to town meeting, we cut that budget from prior year 6%. And school budget this year is going up, if it stays the way it's proposed, going up 9%. So we're gonna have a 3% difference, which in the scheme of things, the way inflation and everything's gone, 3% is not
It's not
bad.
that bad.
But that rough numbers, that's where we are, we're 3% more than what we were last year.
If we would've got the 58.
If everything stays the same, if the budget was back to where it was, and the school stays where it is.
So that's something just to keep in mind. That those bills come around really fast, especially February. And so, let's see, I'm just trying to see if there's does anybody else have anything to add to just sort of doing housekeeping items for today?
I have one, we had a call this afternoon from a Bruce for the Spirit of America, and they would like to honor our Central Fire Department as Spirit of America. So I just have to call him back and give him either the blessing, or maybe you have somebody else that would be someone that you want to put in that position.
No, I don't. Anybody else?
I've got one more thing.
That sounds fine.
That I bring up on the 22nd, but I think it's more important to bring it up today. To finish our budget, we have to have R.H. Smith come back and go through 3 months' worth of checking and some items there. That proposal came in the other day, it's $150 per hour with a maximum of $5,400 to do it. So $150 an hour or $54.
Capped at 54K. 54, not K, 54,100.
Yeah.
63 in the hole.
Yep.
We have no choice but to have the audit and the books done.
Oh, we had to.
I mean, that's
I mean, that's,
what I'm saying, you have no choice here to spend that
The longer
$5,400.
we put it off, the worse we're gonna be on the other end.
you bet.
It's gonna turn into 10 if we don't hurry up.
That's right, right.
Well, and I believe that we actually increased that so that when we went to budget, it was 10,000.
Yeah.
So we've spent, as of today, 6,000 on the audit, the regular,
So we tried to look out there.
Right, right.
so we'll only be,
So that begs the next question. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to have a special town meeting. So, do we want to talk about that, or do we want to talk about that at our next meeting, think about it?
My own opinion, I would like to see those bid packages go out to engineers so we could have that conversation.
At the same time, that's a good
Timeline
idea.
is, Because I think they're both equally as important if we're gonna have a special.
Right. Did we get a time frame for that? Jeff, where are we with regard to that?
Well, you got my resignation letter. I think what the three of you need to do, I think we all four of us ought to get together, come to the town office, and go through the folder, I've got that thing. Let's look at all the information we have and decide, we need to have a number. And then we have to write something up. This is what we want. We want this, 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 and this.
Okay.
And then that needs to be sent out to everybody. But I think first of all, we ought to look at what we have in that folder and maybe
Sure.
that decision will
Yeah,
change
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you, I know you gave me an engineer's report, well, that sort of, the broad,
That was an outsider looking at all the information we had.
thus far,
and
sort of
summarized it. I thought
encapsulate.
It was a pretty good report.
It was an amazing report. I thought it just sort of tidied up all the, you know, all this information here and information
Alright, so
there.
when do we just wanna schedule that, so we can?
Yeah,
we can get
well,
it in the town office and
yes,
do that?
when do we wanna do that?
But that's not gonna tell you, and it's not gonna tell the people, what's on this page way down here for a number? It's not. It's just an overview from an outsider looking at it.
Right, right,
But maybe that's a starting point for us to move it forward.
right. I've read it, the whole report, the whole engineer's report, that report, that sort of did a
I think it's
summarization.
important for everybody to see it, everybody to understand what we've got, what I've done, you know, got for information and stuff.
Right.
Did
I know
I
Jeff
print
has
it,
to
did
see
I
all
send
of
it to you guys? I thought, I printed yours.
You
right?
printed mine because
I thought
Jeff
I
got it when I was,
Emailed them to you.
Not
No?
sure. Don't remember it.
it's long, I don't know how many pages.
20 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the last part of it's all.
Yeah,
The
picture,
carpenter pictures.
and supplementing
I'd
or
like everybody to be
something.
up to date to where we are.
Absolutely, because it definitely summarizes a lot. I mean, I thought it was an amazing report. Honestly, it was well done.
And I think, I'm gonna say this now, if we've been on good relationships with the committee and us, and we all had that information on the table, I think we'd be in a different place. I really think we would.
But we just got that
The
report.
temperature of the town would have been a different place, everybody, I think it would have been a different place. And again, that's what I say you need for a town manager, somebody's gonna put us in a different place.
Yeah, you're doing a
But
great
that's
job.
why- That's why our last full-time town manager couldn't put that together, but my new part-time one did.
Yep,
So,
yep.
Can
I
you
think
please
it's just one
email that to
policy.
Jeff and I?
That's not.
And then that way there, especially if it's 20 pages.
Yeah.
That gives us time to digest it
Yeah,
before we get
it's-
together.
Which was it?
It's this one. It's from Derigo.
There we go, okay.
Yeah. Again, a lot of it is documenting, but you do need to read it from start to finish.
Okay.
You know, because it's the way, and again, it's the way engineers present, you know, it's the whole picture.
They got no skin in the game.
Nope,
They're
no,
not interested in the project.
no,
No,
No.
that would be an open, honest opinion. Because
Right.
they don't wanna be involved.
right. That base,
It's too big for them.
Yep.
That's not what they do.
Yep.
yeah, they're civil engineers.
But
Um.
they came out as a favor and that's what we got.
Yeah, no, it's very, very, very well done. So, yeah, and honestly, if we meet, we should meet unless you need, if you can bring everything and we can meet here as opposed to sitting in the office on top of them.
It's all in one folder. I'd go through it, maybe half an hour. You guys can read and digest and go from there.
Yeah, after you guys read through this, we'll meet. And I don't know, I agree, I really agree as far as the getting before the special. We need to move this ball,
I think they need to both move, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
that's equally as important, and you're only gonna move that, I still believe, that's not gonna move forward without a special.
Yep, oh, no. So,
Or we at least need the engineer's report to tell us, so we know if it's gonna move forward or not. I don't wanna hinder either way, either
right,
one.
right. Okay, so getting back to, posting the town manager's, position. What,
Just
post it and don't
Yeah.
put a salary.
You know, to be determined, and I would, full-time, part-time, I would still slash it. Mm-hmm. Cause I am still confident that the right,
Competent,
the
Yeah.
right part-time person can pull this off
Yeah.
easily.
yeah, I agree.
There's a lot to it, but, you know, there again, if you separate the manager's role from the clerk's role, and
Yes,
let the manager be a manager,
right,
I think it could be done in a part-time.
right. Yep,
And I would just, if it can, it can, but I would hate to lose the right candidate only because he's only willing to give the town part-time.
part-time, right,
You know, if you get the right candidate, there's only one that's full-time, that's a different conversation.
right.
But I don't wanna lose either side of a candidacy by trying to steer it in a direction.
Yeah, and one of the full-time issues is health insurance and all of that, all of the benefit packages that comes with that. You know,
It's all an administrative,
yeah, yeah,
it's all, that whole column's gonna
Now
go.
we're up to 80.
yep, yep. So, okay, I'll put that together and I'll put it on MMA.
What email are you gonna put up to it?
That's a good question. Do you have a suggestion?
Either you or Michelle. I mean,
Yeah.
Jeff's already got how many that we can't get through? I mean,
He's
That-
got them all cleaned up. But I
he's-
think too, part of his emails were some prior before Patrick.
yeah, I'm sure. So.
But
if-
that's,
If Michelle was okay with it, going to her.
well,
Yeah, and I'm just
And
gonna
then she
shoot it
could
off
just-
to you guys.
Right. That's
Okay,
all. You
all
just
right.
need someone as a
I'm just
gatekeeper to
gonna-
bounce them back.
right, right,
That's all.
and just shoot it off to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have you, thought about a different email address or not?
At this point, we're gonna use the one we have.
Okay,
That's where we're at right now.
okay. So,
So when I send you something, I'm gonna mark it as high importance so it sticks out to you.
That was some of the fears of coming and going into a junk folder, or, I'm not a big email guy, but she's very organized with it.
So honestly, the way I have mine set up, Jeff, I have mine set up with a rule that if anything from the town manager, her email address or Sam's email address goes to a folder. So that way there, I see it in the folder, but it doesn't get lost in all my other emails and.
That was our fear, and that's why we talked about setting up another one.
yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense.
There's just so much that comes into that.
Yeah, well, that's what just because as far as I know, this date, just this meeting, this date, time, it was sort of a moving target, and I felt bad about that, but I was down in New York and trying to figure out, and also we thought Josh was coming.
Right.
Which means it would have to be at 5 if we're gonna meet at the office to work with the computers. So, anyway, and then I'm worried that you haven't gotten it, and so, anyway. But it does concern me that we're gonna get backed up with emails,
Should be bad.
I mean, cause you're really good about that.
As long as the computer keeps running.
Well, that's it, I mean,
So that's the other thing too about if we went to a new system, that was the thought process, that you would have,
They're all integrated.
not only is it a town manager email and a clerk's email and a deputy clerk's email, but it's a
We would
selectman
have.
1, selectman 2, selectman 3. So when your selectman seats, it's all accessible and it all
Right.
keeps rolling.
right, right,
Doesn't get stuck in your email or my email or Jody's email.
right. That would, right, so that there's a history there too,
Right.
It
you know.
creates a common archive.
Yes, yeah. Which, honestly, that would be the best. We talked about that so early on.
But it's all part, you gotta have a computer system.
I know, that can manage it,
works,
yep.
and That's the problem. We're back to that.
Yeah, so we'll have to work on, well, once we get to school, do we know that, when that number?
They meet at the school on May 22nd. They have their budget meeting, I believe, and then June 11th, we actually go to the public. And they vote right at the presidential primary, they have their ballots too.
Oh,
So since that we're recording, everybody needs to understand that if anybody is truly interested in the school budget, whether that passes or fails or tries to make that lower, they need to attend that district meeting, because
Right.
at the district meeting, at the school is no different than a town meeting. In every line item is an article, and every article needs to be passed and accepted or lowered or whatever. So that is the chance that everybody has the opportunity to really make a difference on what their budget is.
so
No
when,
different than the town's meeting.
when is that? That's
That's May 22nd.
That's May,
May 22nd,
that's the night of our meeting.
yes.
What time is that meeting, does anybody know?
6, I think.
Yeah, it's about the same time.
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta think about that.
That's fine, I'm willing to change,
So,
we might wanna change our meeting. so that everybody can go to the school board meeting.
Yep, whatever anyone would like to do.
Do we want to change that up right now?
If people are here, they can't go to that. I mean, they can't make a
Right, yeah, and
difference.
we don't wanna do that.
No.
We want, that's no good.
Yours is what, 4 o'clock here?
Yeah,
It's probably gonna be 7 at the school, I'd say.
Well, as long as we can get through ours
So I don't
quickly.
have the book
well,
ready
we're,
for
oh,
Monday.
that's what I wanted, that's the last thing I wanted to talk
So
about.
then let's just leave ours alone.
Okay.
We'll be out quickly and then everybody can still go to the school
Okay,
board.
we're
if
gonna
they
have a
want
4 o'clock meeting, we'll keep it that way. With that said, we're going to have a new, policy, or stick to a policy that we've always tried to, as far as our 2-minute limit when people show up at our meeting. So we're going to,
Be on the agenda.
no, we're not going to do that.
Okay.
We're not going to do that.
Well, we're gonna recommend, I mean, if anybody wants to be on the agenda, they're welcome to be that way.
Right,
But
but
if
there
they-
also needs to be a limit with regard to how much time we
Yep.
will spend on that
Yep.
agenda item. You know, but anyone who just shows up and would like to speak, they are free to speak for 2 minutes, and then we'll move to the next speaker. If they wanna go on the agenda, we're gonna have a limit of, and they would need to check in with Michelle the day before to get on the agenda, and if they don't end up on the agenda, they're not on the agenda.
See,
It's-
I only think it's only fair to you guys that everybody goes onto agenda and you guys see the agenda and then you know what they're gonna talk about, so you don't get broadsided. If you just let everybody that walks through the door talk, you lose control. You lose control of your time in the meeting.
Right,
I'm okay if somebody comes in and they wanna bring something up, but the back and forth can't continue,
No.
because you don't have any, nobody's had a chance to prepare or whatever. But if somebody wants to come in, say what they need to say, 2 minutes,
yep, and that's it, and then we'll move on to the next.
yep.
And as far as, and even just to be on the agenda, again, you know, maybe 15 minutes spent on it, maybe, that's maybe too long, honestly.
Yeah,
I
let's
mean-
just take it, it is what it is, I mean, you're the chair.
Right,
You're allowed to move forward at any
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you feel that enough's enough, then you move it forward. Or, I mean, anyone, me or Jeff can.
Right.
But I
Right.
mean, going back and forth repeatedly doesn't mean anything.
no, and we're trying to, you know, obviously do the town's business, and then it's too late by the time we start sitting down to do the town's business. So, you know, I would limit it, at this point, I would limit it to 2 people on the agenda to see how that goes. So if they want longer than their 2 minutes, that we're not going to go do back and forth, they have to be on the agenda. Because the meetings are too long but getting back to well, you know, May 22nd is the school board vote at the school, at the high school, Dale? And,
Usually it's at the primary,
I think it's in primary school.
yeah, in the
where is it?
cafeteria.
Oh, at the
At
primary?
the primary school,
Yep,
Oh,
it's right up behind it.
same campus.
okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually it's in the cafeteria.
okay.
And
And
it's 25 campus drive, I think.
Yep.
you don't know what time?
I'm not sure. dude.
Yeah.
I'm not either.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So, okay, so our next meeting is, May 22nd at 4 PM here at the fire station. Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, and all in favor, 3 in favor. Okay.